I remember being warned to not continue or pursue education because who's gonna marry you? Yeah, you're gonna be too educated for for grooms or suitors to be interested in you. And that was a confirmation that I could do more, that I could be more, that I don't need to believe in what I was told, that if you come from this humble beginning, this is your ceiling. No, there's no ceiling. You make your own future, but you have to be also willing to pay the price. There is a price, I always say. So I decided to resign. Yeah, everybody called me crazy because my company had fired 70% of the workforce and kept me. But I felt like, okay, this is an opportunity and there's a lot of risk, yes, but if I don't do it now, when am I going to do it?
Hey, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to ask a massive favor of you guys. At the moment, we're putting a big priority on growing our YouTube channel. So if you aren't already subscribed to us there, if you could head over to YouTube, type in the Quest for Success podcast, or just click the link down in the show notes below, head over to our channel and subscribe to us there. You'll get access to all of our video interviews that we do with our guests. And it will do us a massive favor because it will help us grow the show, which means we can get on bigger and better guests for you guys. And with that, back to the episode. All right, welcome back to the Quest for Success podcast, and thanks so much for tuning in once again. Today on the show, we're really excited because we have Hanan Nagi, who is the founder of HNI, which is a training and coaching organization.
Hanan is also a entrepreneur from Dubai, and I had the privilege of meeting her at the Harvard Business School. And Hanan, thank you for so much for taking time and join us today.
Welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
So, Hanan, this discussion is all about success. So we need to lay the foundation, and we need to understand, what does success actually mean to you?
When?
Let's start with right now. Let's start with right now.
I believe that success, the definition of success changes throughout your life. So maybe 20 years ago, success for me was more financial, the status, the apartment or house, the car. Now it means something different. And for me at the moment, success is more about fulfillment. It's not cliche. I really, really mean it. You reach a point of your life where you know that materialistic success is important. I'd never say it was not, okay? But there is more to life and to success than just achieving financial or materialistic success. So to me, at this stage, it's about how did I live my day? And I know it sounds a little bit philosophical, but it's the truth. Like at the end of every day, before I go to sleep, I ask myself, was that a day worth living? And that started a couple of years ago and completely changed my life and what I spend my effort and what I spend my effort on and what I get upset about and what I get stressed about. Because again, priorities have shifted over the past few years. So I always ask myself in the morning, as much as possible when I sometimes I forget, but I ask, what role do I want to play today? Whom do I need to be today? Because we play so many different roles. And so today I want to be the best mother I could be. Today I want to be the absolute best CEO I could be. Or I want to be just reflective. I want to take care of myself. What is the role? And then at the end of the day, I ask myself, was this day worth living? So did I achieve what I wanted to achieve in the morning? Because life is just days and hours and moments. And the best way to achieve success, in my opinion, at this stage of my life is to feel fulfilled and to really enjoy the role. So if I am a mom, I want to be as present as possible as a mom. If I'm a CEO, I want to be the best leader my team could have and not get in my head because, People like us tend to spend a lot of time in their heads, and that unfortunately takes away from being present and enjoying the moment. And life is the moment. There's no past, and future is an illusion. So don't know if
So
that answer your question.
no, that's fantastic, Hanan. So you mentioned when you reviewing, like at the end of the day, you're
Yeah.
asking that question. You're not just asking the question, "Have I achieved those things I plan on in the morning?" You're more asking, you know, is it worthwhile living? Right.
Yes.
So that's a definition, like the difference between have I achieved and is it worth living? You know, so that's why you're not asking the question, is it worth like have I achieved rather than worthwhile living?
Because you could achieve goals you set for yourself, but not necessarily feel fulfilled.
Okay.
So it could be a goal or something that you need to achieve, but not necessarily make you happy or give you joy. And it doesn't mean it has to be easy. It could be challenging, but it makes you feel alive. It makes you feel like you're adding value to someone else's life. It doesn't have to be all about tick, 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 because I'd always been that person, the
Yep.
checklist, always. And that's what I'm trying to shift now. Like it's okay to look back at the day and see what I had done, but not necessarily all of them give me the fulfillment. It could be one thing. Like it could be a day full of activities and errands to run and meetings to attend. And there is that 1 hour lunch with a good friend where I was fully present and had a really good conversation that made the day worth living. So it's a mix of both. We cannot have every moment of every day fulfilling and uplifting, and that's not realistic either. But at least I make sure that it is not a day wasted, because life is precious.
Yep.
And at this stage, I cherish every day that I live with good health, and count my blessings. Um, and I go like, okay, I had to do so many things today for so many people. What did I do for myself? Not again, it's not necessarily all well-being and having a massage, and it could be something to do with work but fulfilling, something to
Yep.
do for my family or a friend but fulfilling. So was that day worth living? And the sense of success come from, did it count really? Or it felt like, oh, I just wasted a day doing things that added
Yeah.
nothing to me or others.
I really like that philosophy. I think that's
Yeah.
a really special one. But I suppose for us to understand the woman who's sitting in front of us today, we need to understand a little bit about your early context. Can you take us back to your childhood and walk us through a little bit of that and how you think it's shaped who you've become today?
Right. So for those who know me, I had a rough childhood. So I grew up in Egypt. I'm Egyptian. And unfortunately, due to our financial circumstances at the time, we were struggling financially a lot. So my parents were very young when they got married. My mom had me when she was, I don't know, not even 19. And do you know what happens when two people uh, get married at such an early age? The probabilities are low. I wouldn't say impossible. So unfortunately, um, they eventually got divorced, and I had to take care of the family. And I was 11. So that was really, yeah, that was tough. And in Egypt, the eldest daughter, so we were three kids, the eldest daughter is expected to take over. So I was the one taking care of everything, cleaning, cooking, taking care of the siblings, my dad. And so that wasn't fun. As you can imagine, it was hard. Now I talk about it like this, but as you can again
Yeah.
imagine, like 20 years ago, that was not an easy conversation for me. So I was good in school. Like I was a good student. I liked school, not necessarily the system, but I enjoyed learning. Uh, and because of our financial situation, I had to start working at 14, so part-time. But that was good in a way that it, it made me the person who I am today. The 14 years old girl in the streets of Cairo was not, again, it's not easy to explain, but I managed to save some money. And at 16, something inside me said, you need to learn English. It's gonna matter. I had no idea how or why. I kind of knew that I needed to get out to the big world and to do more, but I had no idea why. I had no idea how. I just knew that I needed to speak English. And so I saved a little bit, and I took a good 3 months course with a great teacher. And then I continued on my own, watching movies and with that subtitled, all of that. And funnily enough, years later, because I really wanted to go to college and I wanted to go to an English language department, which was very difficult considering I was not coming from an English speaking school. Typically you'd start very early in order to go to an English language department in any decent college. But I actually did, and I ended up graduating as an English language teacher for high school students. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But I never actually worked as a teacher. I am in a similar field now, which is adult education, corporate training and learning. So transfer of knowledge and adding value in this sphere, I think had always been a passion of mine. So yeah, so that's the childhood. So it was rough. I actually continued working full time since I was 18. So 14 to 18 part time. 18 is a legal age where you can work full time, and I had never stopped since. So that's 30 years of working nonstop today.
Wow. Well,
Yeah,
there's so much
It's
that
that we
tells you
amazing.
could.
my age.
There's so much that we could unpack there. But
Yeah,
one
yeah.
thing that I want to delve into is, you know, considering your family circumstance, was there any like elder people that you looked up to get advice
Yes,
or
yes. I think it was a Harvard study that said that children need one adult who could be the role model or the caretaker, the constant, the permanent caretaker in their life. And luckily, that was my grandma for me. She's the person I admire the most. She's the one who taught me since a very early age the importance of education. Although she was a very simple woman, she was not educated herself. She was the one who always told me, your best way out of this mess is education. So whatever happens, promise me you will have a better life and that you will continue learning no matter what. You'd never stop and you will go to college, because there are a lot of people in our family, not at least our immediate family. I was the first person to go to college.
wow.
We weren't talking about Harvard at the time. We were just talking about graduating, getting a college degree. And she was until the separation happened at the age of 11. She was the constant role model in my life and the one I lived with.
So, Hanan, sounds like it's a tough time, right? Like, how many siblings do you had? I mean,
I had two,
two.
and then now I have, yeah, now we're four because we have my half sister who's
All
kind of
right.
like, she's like my daughter now. We're very, very close, but she's from my mom's second marriage. And yeah, and I had two siblings, two boys. One was 2 years younger, and one was 10 years younger.
Okay. So, I mean, they're all younger to you. You're the eldest sister,
Yeah.
and I guess while you're working, managing your education, obviously you have to help them as well with their education.
Yes, a little. Yes. Honestly, that was a long time ago, but my my brother, like the next in line, was okay with his schooling as well. My youngest, or our youngest brother, eventually lived with my mother, so he was very young. So I wasn't as involved with him as I am now. Now we're very close, four of us, but we all have our families and kids, so it's very
Yeah.
different.
And you mentioned it was kind of the expectation at the time for the eldest daughter to kind of look after and take over the family. What was your family's reaction when you decided you wanted to get out?
Well, that was tough because I never actually shared that with anybody at an early age. I think it was more of a hope and a dream rather than a plan. So when I graduated, I started applying for jobs outside Egypt. I just wanted an international experience because also as a girl, you don't leave your dad's house until you're married. That's how it
Wow.
works. So I was not allowed to live alone or to, so traveling alone was a big deal. So I was looking for a decent job for I think 3 years online until I got an opportunity in Dubai. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to go there for 1 or 2 years. It's been 24 years now. And yeah. Uh, yeah, so I moved to Dubai alone at 24. I didn't know
Wow.
anyone. And I just went to like, I had an admin job, but then I went into customer service. Then little by little, I moved into HR. And from HR, I went to training and development. But it was the real change was when I was 27. This is when I felt like I wanted to do more with my life. Like I had potential, but I didn't have a lot of self-belief at the time. Like there was
Mm,
just
mm, mm.
that was unheard of. You know, what do you mean by doing more? You know, like you have a job and you have a decent small car and you have a place to live. That's achievement. But I felt like I could do more, and this is when I, by accident, met a coach, and that coach helped me change my life, challenge my self-belief, deal with saboteurs, go and focus on my career and change it completely, like to go from just a young administrator to a CEO and the Harvard grad and the TED speaker and all of that. At the time, that was who are you talking about? That's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
me.
yeah.
So yes.
But when you were a young kid struggling, do you ever had a dream that this is what I wanted to become?
Yes. So I used to get so mad for not understanding English. So mad. Like I would watch, Tom and Jerry, for example,
Yeah.
as a kid, or anything like that, and I would get so upset that I don't understand what they were saying. They didn't have the subtitle at the time. There was only two channels in TV, so I would wait every weekend to watch something, and then I don't understand. But I always dreamt that I would be this successful person, not a CEO and not a businesswoman. Like I didn't really have that big dream at the time. I just wanted to be able to travel and speak another language. Then eventually, when I think I was 12, 13, and they start asking you about your career and what you want to do. And at the time, I wanted to be a doctor. That was the ultimate dream. But of course, I couldn't because it needs a lot of money and time and effort. So I had to let the dream go. Um, but I was used to say, okay, if not a doctor, then a businesswoman, and I'm gonna have this big car and the driver, and so it was all about materialistic success.
Yeah.
And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Uh, but I just didn't know what. Like, if I'm not a doctor, I'm a businesswoman. To do what? No idea.
And when you got to Dubai and you were kind of settling in, was was there an element of homesickness, or do you think you had grown up being so independent that you kind of felt already ready for that?
In the beginning, yes, because you move to a different country, you know nobody. But again, going through uh, adversity and hardship teaches you to be resourceful, agile, and you make things happen. And I think that what really, really helped me is being again a survivor makes you go like, okay, that sucks. How can I change it? So, and I think that's what I did. So I started making friends and going to like to network, and it took me a year or two to feel comfortable. And now it feels home.
Mm.
And can you take us through that transition from when you got that coach to starting what is now H&I?
Oh, that was interesting. So we started, I mean, we worked together for a year, and in the beginning, it's all about challenging beliefs. And you think you know everything, you're 27, I know everything, of course. And then you get coached and you go like, oh, I'm not sure if this is really my belief or I just inherited it. And if I don't want to be just another good girl, who do I want to be? That was, to me, that was a big deal. Like, I remember being warned to not continue or pursue education because who's gonna marry you? That was a
Wow.
very interesting, right? Yeah, you're gonna be too much, too well educated for for grooms or suitors to be interested in you. So that challenges your perception and your identity. Like, who do I want to be? And I wasn't like, for that, throughout that year, I wasn't sure who do I really, or who can I be? Who could I become?
Yeah.
But luckily, what happened is, and I was a rubbish employee. Oh my God, I was like, seriously, you would think that someone who had, gone through such hardship would be a
Yeah.
good employee. I was
Hardworking.
rubbish. I was rubbish. I don't know where I got the sense of entitlement as that young, that this is the I need to do the minimum. And I am doing them a favor by showing up and doing 3-4 hours of real work, and I should be a manager as soon as possible because I have no idea where I got this from. And
All
but
and
I
not, yeah.
I think it was a whole generation. Everybody's complaining, and somehow you get entangled in that mentality of entitlement.
Yes.
And then when I worked with the coach, I realized I was rubbish. And I do remember, this is a funny story. When I started changing, like like you could feel the transformation in the way I behave, in the way I dress, in the way I work. And I actually put on top of my screen at the time the first letters of I am here to work. So IAT da 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 W, and I just put it there to remind myself that I'm not here to sip coffee all day long or to chat or to gossip about colleagues. It's not. I'm here to work, and people would come and say, "What does that mean?" I'd never tell anyone. I just say it's a secret. But in a few months' time, I started really changing, and I started focusing on the KPIs, and I started creating good programs and induction. Employees, I was in HR at the time, HR training and development. And I remember and my relationship with my line manager at the time, he's a really nice guy, was rubbish again. He could see through that, the entitled employee who thinks she should be a manager tomorrow. But I remember at the end of, yeah. I remember going to the performance evaluation, properly dressed. Now I dress formally and I go on time or even earlier, and I do my 8 hours or longer, and I leave on time. And I sat there and he said, so what do you think? How do you think you did this year? And I said, not very well. I was very honest. And I said, I think I started with this kind of attitude. I was not giving my best. I hope you have seen a change in me the past few months. I'm really trying my best now. But in terms of evaluation, performance evaluation, I will leave it to you 100%, whatever you think is fair. He looked at me and said, okay, Hanan, I haven't decided on your ratings yet. You go home and we'll meet again tomorrow. And I had a coaching session that evening, and I told my coach what happened. He smiled and he said, no, he had ratings. He had the evaluation ready for you, and it was bad. It was really
Yeah.
but because
Yep.
you were honest, and because he had seen a real change, he will change it.
Yep. Yep. He
So I
felt
went the
bad.
next
Yeah.
day. He felt like, man, okay, maybe she's really changing. That's not a
Yeah.
stunt.
Yeah.
Maybe I should give her a chance.
Yeah.
And I went the next day, and funny enough, he said the same thing. He said, I had a really poor performance set for you, like the ratings, but I can see change and I want to encourage that change. And here is the new rating. And it was, above average. It was actually, for what I expected, it was good. And I said, thank you very much. Whatever you feel is fair. And I promise you next year we'll do great. And that following year, I was so focused. By the end of that year, not only I made the biggest bonus that helped me to start investing, and like I'm now an investor and entrepreneur as well. That was my very first investment, but to also apply and win the Distinguished Employee of Dubai Award that I
Wow,
received from
amazing.
His Highness Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum personally, as the first Egyptian to ever win this award in 1 year.
Wow.
And I think to answer your question, Darren, that was a confirmation to the change, that I could do more, that I could be more, that I don't need to believe in what I was told, that if you come from this humble beginning, this is your ceiling. No, there's no ceiling. You make your own future, but you have to be also willing to pay the price. There is a price. I always say in all my keynote speeches everywhere, I say there is a price. If you're willing to pay it, good. And just make sure you're actually pursuing the right thing, because it feels so bad to pursue a dream and then at the end realize it wasn't really yours. It's something you've inherited or someone else's.
So why did you decided to go to a coach in the first place?
It wasn't actually planned. Like I think I don't know if you call it luck, you call it,
Yeah.
heavenly
Yeah.
intervention. Certain things happen, but there's also something I heard years ago that explained it to me. They say, when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved that. I loved that because I don't think I was ready until that moment, because I was so busy trying to achieve, again, tick, 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 tick on the list, but I wasn't deep down ready for a real change. And I remember that year, I think when I turned 27, I was not fulfilled. I wasn't happy and I didn't know why. And I tried therapy and I tried other things. And there's no, like, I'm seeing a therapist like most CEOs. There's nothing wrong with therapy at all. But I think I needed more. And that was coaching for me. And by accident, I was talking to someone and I was explaining that I feel like I need to do something more. I just don't know what it is. And I don't know how to know. And I feel stuck. And he's like, you know what? I've got my uncle who's a great coach and he's coming from America. Maybe you could see him. I think he's relocating to Dubai. And we met once and he saw something in me and he's like, I'll coach you. And I was like, I can't afford you. He said, I don't want money. I want to
Wow.
work with you. Yeah, and I owe him uh, a lot of what I've achieved today is, thanks to him. And he worked with me for a year. We used to, and he was tough. And he would call me up on any BS I'd say or anything I'd commit to and not pursue. He would call me out.
So, Hanan, that's interesting. So, what inspired you to start your own business?
Again, accident. It was by accident. It was a lot of things. Oh, well, it wasn't.
It's planned for you.
Uh, it was an opportunity that
Yeah.
I seized. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way. So I had always, because I continued in the training and development career. This is when I found myself
Yeah.
like, okay, still teaching, transfer of knowledge, and I was in with the company. The semi-government organization that I was with for years. And then I moved to an American company. I was a regional HR manager. Then I went back to government. I was headhunted. So there were a few moves where I reached a head of learning and development in a big organization. And but I felt like I had enough of corporate. I wanted to do more. I really didn't know what. So I became a coach myself. I became a public speaker. I had my website. I started appearing on TV as again, a subject matter expert in personal transformation. I had my own TV show for a while in Arabic to inspire young people to transform their lives. But I always felt like I'm a little constrained. And again, maybe it was a wrong belief. I'm going to have my own company when I'm in my 40s because this is the right time when you are when you're a real expert, when you've had enough knowledge, and then I was on one, I was on NBC, I think, and after the interview, TV interview, I got a call from a company outside the UAE. It was in the middle of the financial crisis at the time, 2010. And someone said, so I see you're a coach. Do you deliver coaching training? I said, of course. Now, to be honest, I was I was a coach, but
Yeah.
I didn't have the materials. And I said, of course I can. And he's like, okay, we have a big project. It's a year long, but you have to come and do a demo for 3 days. And if it is successful, we will hire you as a business. Which there was no business, there was
Yeah.
just me. We will hire you as a business to come and deliver. So I decided to resign, which
Wow.
was, yeah, everybody called me crazy because
Yeah.
my company had fired 70% of the workforce and kept me.
Wow.
So I should be super grateful, but I felt like, okay, this is an opportunity and there's a lot of risk, yes, but if I don't do it now, when am I going to do it? So I resigned, spent 2 weeks at home writing the materials, preparing because it was in Arabic and I wasn't really comfortable delivering in Arabic, and everything I learned in English. And so I did, and I went and I delivered it. It was successful. And then they said, oh, fantastic. Now send us an invoice. I was like, huh? Yeah. Oh, we need an invoice, and invoice need a company, and the company that trade license needs a name, and you need a logo, and bam, H&I was born.
Oh,
But that
nice.
was 15 years ago.
And I suppose, once that had all happened, what was the vision for H&I?
Honestly, the first year I was in, it was like, I
There's
just,
more.
I just have a contract and I have no idea what I'm gonna do next. So I was like, I did it like, okay, I have a business 10 years earlier than I planned. Oh my God. And again, I was still even, we're all work in progress. And until now, I still, of course, work in my self belief, limiting beliefs, everything. But at the time, I had a very limiting belief about my ability to sell. So as a company, very tiny, it is just me, I was doing everything, except I was so scared of sales. So I would hire very expensive people. I give them all the money I made, like all my profit to go sell. And 6 months, after 6 months, nobody's able to sell. Then I was like, okay, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to try. What have I got to lose? I need other contracts. This contract is ending and I have nothing. So I started contacting companies on LinkedIn and saying, I'm in your city. This is my background. I am delivering this contract, this project to this big telecom. Can I come and have a cup of coffee? And funnily enough, everywhere I went, I would close first or second meeting. I think because I used to be the client and I understood the pain. So everything I said was not a sales BS. It was real. Like, I know
Yes.
this is the challenge. I know this is what you need. And I gave all my clients 100% money back guarantee, which was again
Amazing.
crazy. So I would say, I'd come, design the program, run it for you. If you don't like it at the end for any reason, don't pay me, no questions asked. And they were like, yeah, sure. Yeah. And this is how it started. And now we are in four different countries,
Amazing.
120 people full time,
Amazing.
300 to 400 consultants. So, yeah.
Wow.
And you mentioned there that you knew the problem that you were trying to solve for your customers. What actually is the pain point you're trying to solve?
Treating adults as children. And even children don't like lectures. I mean, ask yourself, when was the last time you enjoyed a pure lecture? Like someone telling you what to do without engagement, without interaction, just standing there, just one way transfer of knowledge. So to me, as a client and as a head of L&D, we used to face this problem is to find a good, what we call vendor, even though I don't like that term, but like a training vendor who would be able to give me the latest content in a fun, gamified, interactive way, but also speak the language and understand the culture. And that's what H&I focused on. So I told them it's not about content. Content is there in books, it's online. Anybody can pick up a book and read about leadership, about emotional intelligence, about personal development. So what we wanted to do, and what we, very proud to say that we're leading the market now when it comes to gamification. So when you come to one of our programs, you don't get a typical training course. We hate it. We don't do that. You get an experience. You get a simulation, an exercise through virtual reality, a game you play with your colleagues in class on tablets. Now we're working on immersive experience, so a leadership program, 2 to 3 days, where there is no lecture at all. It's all kind of like a theme in Disneyland, where from the
Amazing.
moment you enter to the moment you leave, you're in that different world where you learn by doing. When you learn by doing, what happens, and you learn in a fun way, what happens is you retain the knowledge for longer. So it moves from the short-term memory to the long-term memory. Why do we want it to stay there? Because hopefully we help you then to use the knowledge to help your organization, help yourself, help your family. We had a lot of people who attend, for example, our coaching program and then go coach their children. And they come back and say that was life transforming. Or so this is where that's the vision. It was for us to fill in that gap.
Yeah. So Hanan, I want to go back a little bit when you started, right? So you said that you didn't really have a great vision, like you were just taking those opportunities and developing it. So when was that opportunity came, when you're like single person, for you to kind of grow and scale the business? I mean, obviously it's part of kind of evolving that business, right? Like, can you take us through, like, from one person to two to now you're talking about hundreds of consultants, and how that journey happened?
Well, I think the vision started forming naturally
Yeah.
from my conversations with clients. Like when I actually sat there with them face to face, selling my services, I realized that what I was promising was really the gap. Like it wasn't just on paper that okay, we're gonna give you. No. They were really suffering from what I suffered from before. So when that happened, I started focusing on, okay, this is not about another training program, because anybody can go get a freelancer, get the online materials, and get a trade license, and I'm a training company. But that's how it works, and that's not what's sustainable. And from these conversations and working in partnership with my clients, I started forming or developing and growing the vision step by step. So it went from, okay, I want to deliver an interactive training program, to now H&I is known for its innovation hub. In fact, just the day before, we received, I think it's the 6th or 7th award, the Visionary of the Year in the e-business field. So E is, again,
Yes.
which I never thought, asked me 10, 15 years ago, did I imagine or envision that we would be in the digital era? No, of course not. Now we're playing with AI, with VR, with AR. But to answer your question, it was just me, and then I got a personal assistant to work in the next bedroom and in my home. Yeah, that was it. And then because I was doing everything,
Yeah.
and then and I was also delivering. So I was designing,
Yeah.
writing proposal, delivering, raising the invoices, everything.
And business development as well, selling and everything.
Everything. So the first 3 years, of course, were very, very tough. But then I realized, okay, I can't keep working on and in the business. So I hired a couple of freelancers that I chose very carefully. Like I would do demos for like days to choose one or two trainers who understand my methods, who have the same vision and the same approach to learning. Otherwise, they would ruin my reputation. So my focus was quality and reputation, and money will come. And it did. It was just about maintaining that vision and turning it into, and show my client that it was a reality. So we went from 2 people working from home to 4 or 5 people working from home, like in my home. Like they would come in, morning, Hanan, I'm still in my pajamas, and we get cakes and tea and sit in. Yeah. And then until I had my child, and I kind of like, sorry guys, I have to kick you out. And then I had a small office, and then another office, then a bigger office, and now 4 offices.
Wow. Wow.
And I want to go to that innovation piece because that's really interesting to me. Like how you guys have that. To me, that seems like the way you're differentiating yourself from others in the market.
Yeah.
So I want to understand how you guys go about innovating in a space which is kind of, old school for most places.
So this happened actually thanks to COVID. I know everybody talks about COVID negatively, and trust me, I don't remember how many nights where I went to sleep in tears because I didn't know whether I was going to have a business the next day or not. Everything was shut down. We were instructed by the government not to do business. And you're just sitting there, have no idea when you're going to deliver again, face to face, particularly, and you're paying employees' salaries. And I refuse to let people go. And so we had to pivot very, very quickly. We had always talked about an innovation hub and maybe creating our own games to make, because we were always interactive, but using simple tools. Yeah. So again, discussions, maybe a board game here, but that was it. Uh, Pivoting so quickly to online forced us to consider the digital tools available. And it wasn't just, I'll put them in a break room on a Zoom or no, we had to make it exciting because otherwise my client would cancel the contracts. I mean, to even convince the client at the time, it was one client who took a chance on me. We still work together today. It was a big petrochemical in Saudi. And I said, I promise I will make the program, which was technical, as fun as possible online, as if they were face to face. So we spent 2 months during COVID looking at what tools, digital tools available out there that maybe not in any way relevant to training or learning and development or education, even if it's for children, if it's technical, and how do we recycle it or to use it in a different way to aid our vision of like it's interactive, it is fun, it's engaging. And same year, I think, or the following year, I established the Innovation Hub. This is a full-time big team. Their main job is to find tools, gamify materials, create virtual reality simulations, create augmented reality tools and games, create immersive experiences now, both face-to-face and digitally. And that's what gave us the push. I mean, that's now our edge.
That's awesome. Hanan, like that's really interesting. But when you think back, that struggle that you talked about early when you're young and ability to survive through that struggle, do you think as an entrepreneur really help you?
Of course, because um, I think having gone through what I went through gave me the sense of uh, risk assessment. Like I'm so tuned to risk, I think, more than most people. Like I can sniff, smell risk from miles away. So even my team, when we have a big deal or a big contract, they go like, "Call Hanan," and they don't ask me for my technical opinion, or they go like, "Find the holes, find the risk." Yeah, seriously, I was like bringing Lassie to find, drugs, and 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 I think that helped me a lot in uh, detecting and mitigating risk early on in every intervention. And also, I believe it helped me as a leader in terms of sense of empathy because you go either ways. Yeah, you go to either extreme, either too empathetic or too rough, and you say, "Oh, I had it hard, so why are you complaining?"
Yep.
I would like to think with the help of my coach and working on myself for so many years, I am able to balance this a little bit. So how to balance business needs with people needs, and to have people who have been with us for 12, 13, 14 years in the company.
Amazing.
And yeah, and to have so many people come and say, I have never stayed in a company for more than 2 years, and they angrily, like they actually, why am I still staying with you? And to me, the best compliment I've ever had is like, when you work with Hanan, it is difficult for you to work with someone else. That to me is, and I believe all of this is because of what I had gone through as a child, let alone, of course, resilience and the grit and all of that stuff where you don't let go. Like I was, again, I'll take it as a compliment. I was called like a dog with a bone. I don't let things go. Like if there is something I want, there is the tenacity. I'm gonna do it. Doesn't matter. But now, again, at this stage of life, I go like, okay, that worked, but now we just want to make sure it is the right thing. Not every bone needs to be
Yeah.
picked, and not every fight should be fought. And also, let's make sure it is yours. You really want to do it because you want to do it, not because you're too competitive. And most entrepreneurs are competitive, and that it really adds value to you, to those around you, to fulfilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I suppose after, all these years of learning about and teaching about leadership, are there any core insights that you can share with us about becoming a better leader?
I can't recall one call in particular, but I can tell you what I've learned
Yep.
about being a good leader. That treat people as you wish to be treated. Honestly, it's simple. And if you do that, most problems wouldn't exist. And people feel it when you are authentic, and they
Yeah.
feel it when you are vulnerable. Like during COVID, and I go and say, here is what's happening. I am scared, but this is my plan and I need your support. I never pretended to be know it all, or the ship is sailing and don't worry. No, no, no. And I think on a deep level, people appreciate that way more than big words. And they want to know they can rely on you. They want to know that um, you're a good human being, and as well as a good leader, so they trust you. And even when we lose people now because they want to change jobs, they want to go somewhere else, or for whatever reason, um, you could see how upset they are to leave. And I appreciate that. But again, this is life. But to see them sad to go, to me, that's again sign of success, that they felt cherished and valued as humans, not just as headcount in my company.
And on that point, about people, I suppose as you've scaled your company and got more and more people in, how have you kept that company culture so strong that even as a large organization, people still feel that connection, especially to you?
It is so difficult. It is so difficult because, I mean, Jam, you remember about the moment of truth, and when a company is growing and people start resisting the change. And so we are going now through a professionalization phase where we've now established a big HR department, procurement, contracts, legal, IT, da, da, da. So the past few years, I unfortunately had people who did not accept the transition and didn't feel that this was the company they joined, and it was their choice to not continue. And I understood what was going on. They did as well, and we're still on very good terms and we're friends. But as the company grew and new blood came in, you can't really maintain that grip on culture, that it's friendly, that it's open, that you can't. I don't know half of employees' names anymore. I used to know everybody
Yeah.
by name and their families, and now I go like, "Hi, I'm Hanan. What do you do for us?"
Yeah.
And so the only solution I have found is to work so closely with the management team to make sure they become better than Hanan in terms of people management, that they can carry out the same values, that they can treat people the same way I hoped uh, for my people to be treated regardless of their levels. And that's my focus now. I hope I am doing a good job, but it's always work in progress, because even managers, you get new managers every month or so. So we're working on a very strong onboarding program,
Yeah.
value system training, competencies, the whole 9 yards. What we teach people to do, we started doing it. We started doing it now internally. Yeah.
And you mentioned a little bit early on about kind of the struggles that you had, or I suppose the influence that people were having on you, you know, saying that you shouldn't get too educated, you know, people won't find you attractive, whatever. I want to understand what are the challenges, you know, you've faced being a woman in business, and also do you see that landscape changing, especially in the Middle East? Like I'm not sure what it's like
Yeah.
being from Australia.
Yeah. It has definitely changed. Has definitely. I mean, we're talking 25 years ago, 25 years ago, and I was told that. But of course, for a female to reach this position, it's not easy, not just because of the system or the society is not allowing her. It's because of our natural responsibilities as mothers as well, you know. So those who choose to also have a family, I can tell you, it is not easy, because of the sense of guilt that I had to go a few days ago to Saudi for 2 hours and come back in the evening to attend my son's
Wow.
swimming gala in the morning. But when he said, oh, Mommy, I said, it's very difficult, baby, to come back the same day. He said, what if I win and you're not there?
Wow.
So changed my flights, came back, and he won all three races. And I would
Amazing.
have hated yeah, I would have hated myself if I weren't there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So to juggle that is difficult. And I don't know why, you know, we don't admit it. It is difficult. But yes, of course, at the time there were not a lot of opportunities. Maybe I was lucky being in Dubai, because they had the system to support individuals who have the vision and the tenacity there, regardless of gender. And again, regardless of religion, regardless of anything. And that was, I think, the space I needed to flourish. Um, but yes, I mean, I was always called crazy. Oh my gosh, that I'm known for it. I was called crazy when I left Egypt to come here. I was called crazy when I started the business. I resigned in the middle of financial crisis, 2015, when the oil prices dropped again. We were losing money. You have to close it, go back, uh, and my saboteurs do a great job of calling me crazy. I mean, they did for so long, and until recently, when I got the to speak at Harvard at the TED to deliver a TED talk at Harvard. Again, people were like, "Oh, this is this. If you don't do well, you're gonna hurt the business. Do you
Yeah.
understand? Everywhere you speak, it's just it's either help or are you sure you want to do this?" And I said, yeah. And I would like to think it was very successful. So it's okay to be called crazy. It's fun.
Yeah. So I mean, this is where I really want to go and understand a bit more. Talking about flourishing, and I like
Yeah.
what you mentioned earlier as well. You are in the stage of, rather than you're in the business, you're on the business, developing leaders to drive the growth of your business, and your role has changed over the years, right? And
Yeah.
now everywhere I can see Hanan, like, social
Mm.
media, and Harvard Square doing the TEDx. Tell us a bit more how that role changed, and I want to know a little bit more about your topic that you discuss at the Harvard Square, and
Okay.
take us through, please.
So it started actually changing a little bit because of our OPM jam. When we
Yep,
went to
yep,
Harvard and we were supposed to not be available for 3 weeks. I mean, you can imagine there was a panic
yep.
going on. And like, what? What do you mean you're not available? Of course, I was still available and I was taking calls, but that kind of forced my team to start taking decisions without me. And I think part of me wanted to be still involved. And don't get me wrong, sometimes I get all the way down when the business needs to. I was just attending a handover meeting. I'm not, CEO should not attend the handover meeting, but I knew it was critical for my business. So I said, I'm attending. But I also had to like face myself and say, I need to let go. And it's difficult because it's my
Very.
baby. My baby. What if? And then I thought, if this is to grow, I have to take a back seat and the management team have to make mistakes, the usual, yeah? I had to. And so the second year at Harvard, the 3 weeks, I had a few calls. And this last unit, when we graduated, I barely got any. And to me, that was a sign of success. Sometimes you go like, oh, my babies don't need me anymore. And go like,
Baby's
it's a
grown
good
up. Yeah.
sign. It's a good sign. So I am still involved, but I try to not be involved transactionally or in day to day as much as possible. Sometimes I am, a lot of times I am, but only when I am really needed. Not because I don't trust them or because I know better or no. I try and focus now on the strategic direction of the company, the innovation part, positioning H&I where it deserves to be as leading in the corporate learning industry, building relationships, collaboration. I don't believe in competition. I think it's very limiting. So I go and meet other big consulting firms, and we work together now, and we run countrywide projects, ministries, and big players in the energy field. So that's what I try to focus on, while definitely building my management team to take over. What if I get hit by a bus tomorrow? What's going to happen to this company? It should be able to run without me. So I know we still have a lot of work to do, but that's my focus.
Take us through your TEDx experience, please.
Okay. I am going to tell you share with you the title and then look at your faces first.
Okay.
Okay. So my talk was, or the title was, Why Self-Belief is Overrated.
Oh.
Well, okay.
Exactly. No.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think the talk should be ready soon, within the next couple of
Well,
weeks, if
so
you can
much looking
believe.
forward to listen to it. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So
Wow.
in a nutshell, I developed this blueprint, 5 steps model based on my own experience and a lot of research as well, that I don't personally believe that you should wait until you have self-belief to achieve something great. I don't think it works. I think it's paradoxical. I don't think it's logical. I think um, just screaming, I can do it in front of a mirror, I don't think it really achieves as much as we could get from making friends with our saboteurs, accepting self-doubt as a friend, and learning to deal with it throughout the journey. And that's why my blueprint talks about, and hopefully it's going to be a book soon as well.
Awesome. Well, we'll definitely put
Amazing.
the link to the talk in the show notes once it comes out. But I'm
Sure.
curious. You've mentioned that success can test one's ego, and humility is
Oh,
the key to true influence.
absolutely.
So I want to know, after all of this that you've created, how do you still stay grounded?
Because it can get taken away from you in a in a second. You don't know what can happen. I mean, like, it is so naive of people to feel superior, or it's naive, because yeah, it took a lot of work for you to get there. But me, for example, without my team, could never be a success. Never. It doesn't matter what I could do. I'm still one person. I could have a vision, I could have resources, I could have tools, but I can't do it on my own. So to think you are it, to me, is naive. That's number one. Number two is, like I said, people feel and can sense on an energetic level whether you're truthful or not, whether you're authentic or not, whether you are humble or not. So So the day I let my ego controls me, I know those around me will feel it. And then their loyalty and I mean, they love the company as if it's their own. What else would I ever want more than that? So I'd be stupid if I were to treat people or even believe that, oh, now I'm, yeah.
Yeah.
No, life is simple and we're all playing our own roles. And I am hopefully a reason for someone else's growth, like there was someone who took from his time to coach me and help me be the person I am. So I think true leadership is in humility and in vulnerability and in authenticity, honestly, not just big words to say. And those around you, especially in professional services and people's business, they feel it. Your clients feel it, your team feel it, and it can either help you grow or ruins you completely.
That's I really like that. So Hanan, what legacy do you hope to leave as a entrepreneur, leader, coach,
Mother.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I always say that we need to leave the world a better place than we found it. So I hope that in whatever we're offering at HNI or me as a business leader or as a mother, that I'm helping people and organizations and my son and my siblings and my friend to one day look back and say, oh, I am better today because of Hanan. Hanan did something that helped me. Um, I don't know if I have like a huge legacy of, I don't know, making 1 billion people this or that. Like maybe I will eventually, but now even with the TED Talk, like my hope was that this video, if it's good and if it really adds value, that someone would be sitting there or watching the video who is like me 25 years or 30 years ago, who doesn't know what they're supposed to do and struggling with self-doubt and not sure if I can ever achieve anything. And they find that helpful and to guide them towards a better life and what they were hoping or dreaming of.
That's
And Hanan, looking back on this incredible journey that we've spoken about, do you feel successful, given that your definition of success was all about fulfillment?
Absolutely. Like I now understand that perfection is an illusion because I'm a perfectionist, of course. And it took me years to understand that if I keep looking at and focusing on what's missing, I will live and die miserable. So I now count my blessings and I understand that, of course, my life is not perfect. My achievements are not like everything that I wanted, but where I am now and what I have achieved is success. And that daily routine of who do I want to be today? Was this day a day worth living? To me, reminds me that, okay, this is success and I have a lot to be thankful for. And I always ask myself, if I know I'm dying today, this is my last day on earth, would I look back and say, this was a good life, good, successful, whatever you want to call it,
yeah.
positive, yeah. And I go like, yeah, yeah, it was. It was a good run. And I actually have it in my notebook. Like I keep looking at my notebook and say, not just a good run, make it a heck of a run. So I'm trying.
I
That's
love that.
amazing.
And this conversation, we could keep going on and on and on.
Yeah.
It's been incredible. You're a very eloquent speaker, and you've gotten across some very philosophical and deep points. And I'm really grateful that we got to have this conversation. But before we let you go, I've been jotting down a few key ingredients which I think have been so critical to your successful life, and I'd like to share them with you. The first one is definitely humility, and what I mean by that is knowing that you don't always have the answers. There was a point in your life where you were a bit lost, but you could have had that big head and said, I'll figure it out, keep going. But you accepted that I don't actually know what I'm doing, and you sought help, and that coach came into your life, and the rest is history. But I think having that humility is so important because as you said, now it's one of the core things that keeps you grounded, and I think that's really important trait to have. The next is being a continuous learner. I think that's one thing which really stood out to me, whether it's from a small Hanan wanting to go out and learn English so that she could get more opportunities, to now going to Harvard and always trying to push the boundary, learn more so that you can be the best version of yourself. And I think you even mentioned you want to be the best version of yourself so that you can impart that onto other people. The next one is you take opportunities, and I suppose what really stood out to me is you don't listen to other people, the naysayers, the people who are always trying to tear you down, whether it's, been family in the past or your competitors now. You're always looking at opportunities for yourself. And I think that's really important, just going in and taking the leap and not really worrying about what other people have to say, because it's making sure that you get to the outcome that you want. And you mentioned that as well. Is it someone else's dream or is it your own dream? So I think that's important. And the last one is you're incredibly resilient. You've faced some incredible challenges which most people can't even comprehend throughout your life, but you've come out the other side, kicking and working towards that heck of a life that you're working towards.
And Hanan, thank you so much for sharing your story and being really vulnerable. I mean, that's a great leadership that I can see from you, and really authentic as well. And I feel like we have both had the opportunity to really know you really well, and hopefully we share this with everybody else. And we learn so much having this conversation. And thanks for being with us. And really enjoy it.
Thank you very much. Thank you both for having me, and looking forward to our next podcast.
That's it. And for those of you who have joined, if you've taken something out of today's episode, it would be a massive favor if you could subscribe, like, and comment on this episode. It helps us get it out there. And if you want to see more of our inspiring content, you can do so by heading over to our website, thequestforsuccesspodcast.com. And with that, we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Thanks for listening.